If you're starting a new business, a new workout program, a new hobby, a new anything, it can be hard and scary, and it can be tough to convince yourself to take your shot. I felt that way with both of my careers, comedy and podcasting. What if nobody likes me? What if nobody listens? What if I fall on my face and I fail? Everyone that's ever started a business has had those exact same thoughts, so you're not alone. But those that have rolled the dice and powered through will tell you it's the best decision they've ever made. And a lot of them made it 100 times easier on themselves by partnering with Shopify. Shopify is like a permanent employee of the month because they can help take so much off your to-do list. They'll help you create a store website with hundreds of easy-to-use templates ready to go. They can help you create email and social media campaigns so you're reaching your customers wherever they happen to be scrolling. And maybe most importantly, Shopify is your commerce expert, helping with everything from inventory management to shipping orders internationally. And if you ever find yourself stuck, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 customer support is there to help you out. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 367. And we're kicking it old school with both feet because this isn't just an old game, but it's an old game that took up many an hour of my old childhood back in the day. We're talking Toobin, an all-time classic that I played a ton of on the NES. I know some of you know it from the arcades or PCs as well. By no means have we covered every game that I grew up playing religiously, but admittedly, after 367 episodes, the pile of games that I can pretty much review from memory is starting to shrink a little bit. And this is one of those ones that I've been kicking around reviewing on the show for a couple of years now. But I was hesitant because I was like, did anyone play this game but me? Does anyone else? I feel like everyone that grew up in the NES era at least has at least one game where they're like, was I the only one that ever played this fucking game? That's how I felt about Toobin. So then like a month or so ago on an episode of Remember the Game, I just like mentioned it in passing and was like, did anybody else play Toobin? And I got a ton of I remember that game comments from people, and that was all the motivation I needed to blow off the dust, or blow out the dust, I guess, from my old cartridge, fire it up, and get ready for an episode. And I have seen comments from a few of you saying, what the fuck is this? The fuck is Toobin? Which hurts my soul a little bit. So gather around the lemon tree, kids, and listen to an old man talking as I tell you about a game that is very near and dear to my heart. Toobin, if you've not played it, is an auto-scrolling arcade game. You're going from top to bottom. It's one of those ones where you can either go for a high score or just see how far you can make it, or both, whatever. I don't think it has an ending. I think it's one of those games that just keeps sending you through the levels, getting harder and adding more enemies and stuff, as was the style in arcades at the time. If it's got an ending, I sure as fuck have never gotten there. But it's awesome. You play as a guy in an inner tube going down these rivers, and there's jungles. You're in the Arctic. You're in Mars at one point. You can throw cans at enemies and obstacles at like a 45-degree angle to try to get them out of their way or freeze them and keep them from popping your tube, because if you touch anything, you touch any bad thing, your tube pops, it costs you a life, and you go until you run out of patches, which are your lives. And it might sound like a very basic game, but buddy, if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. Toobin is a really good fucking time. It's more fun than actual tubing, which the last time I did in my teens, I fell asleep and woke up redder than a Coke can, and my brother still breaks my balls about it. That was the worst sunburn I've ever had in my entire life. So anyway, that's why I don't go outside anymore. Joining me this week, I think, we haven't actually recorded the game chat yet, so there's a chance I'm alone, but I think joining me for the episode this week is a bit of a living legend around these parts, my pal Chris, who you may remember from Remember the Game episode 1, and many more since then. I love this game. He loves this game. He's probably the member of our regular guest roster I'd be most likely to actually go tubing with. It's a win all the way around, and he was a SEGA kid growing up. I was a Nintendo kid, and I like it when we can bring the two sides of the retro gaming yin and yang together across the tracks and prove that we can all get along, you know? Or if he didn't show up by chance, then screw SEGA kids, and you're just going to have to listen to me ramble by myself. And we'll get into all that in just a minute, because speaking of rambling to myself, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long. They're not that long. They're kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. They're a good time. And there's precisely 0% chance of some weird Sphinx thing shooting a laser into your tube, popping it, and making you drown while you listen. I mean, I guess if you're listening to it while you're tubing through Egypt, maybe. But unless you're doing that, probably going to be okay. If you do want to skip it, you just want Toobin talk, go to about the 30-minute mark, and you should be into the game chat and all that good stuff. Or listen to the whole thing. Support the show. That's what I recommend, and just enjoy the ride, my friends. If you'll just indulge me for 2 minutes, let me get my plugs out of the way. It's how we keep our bills on around here. We have a Patreon. It is kind of the lifeblood of the show. I got to say, dude, in February, we hit 2,000 paid subscribers for the very first time. And now we've dropped back out from under that number because as the month rolled over, all the cancellations from the previous, like we have cancellations every week. Cancellations rolled through, and like we're pretty close to getting back there, but we did hit it in February for the first time. And I was pretty fucking proud of that. So thank you to all 2,000 plus of you that have supported us over on the old Patreon box. And you're not just giving me money for the sake of giving me money. I give you a whole shit ton of podcasts in exchange for that money, because we publish 4 extra shows most weeks. They don't have any ads in them at all, and you can start listening for as little as $3 a month. You can also write into the podcast, as well as, including playing Play One, Remake One, Erase One. You can vote on all the different games we cover. You can join our 1,500 plus member Discord. You get instant access to tons of archive bonus podcasts. You get Remember the Game 100% ad-free with timestamps, all 367 episodes. And I'm on stream Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And patrons can come by and check that out as well. It's tons of perks. And most importantly, you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name, like I'm certainly going to do to at least one of you. We'll see how this goes. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. Pineapple 7201, Jerse. Everyone should be nicer to Johnny. He's only 2D. I feel like I should get that reference, but I don't. But I still like it. Brock Edos, Sora X44, Sora times 44, Sorax. I'm going to go Sorax 44. Corey, and last but not least, Lobster Fuel, John Brooks, Yungio Hong. I apologize. Scroats Magooch, Pokemon Master OG, Blake Wise, The Good Old Days, Ian, I think it's Ian McIntyre, Derek Pryor, Dexter Palmer, and $5 Wrestling's #1 container. Horrible batch of shout-outs, but great people, because they're supporting us on Patreon, and I'm grateful for that. You can find it all at patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's some free episodes over there that you can try out just to see how it works. Add them to your Spotify or whatever podcast service you like. And again, our subscription starts at $3 a month, and if you sign up for a full year, you get your 12th month on the house. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
And just quickly before we get into blowing in the cartridge this week, I got to remember to start plugging this. I will be at the Calgary Game and Collector Show in the old Calgary, Alberta on Saturday, May 30th. I'll be there all day. It's happening at the Acadia Recreation Complex. You can find more information at calgarygameshow.com. I'll plug more stuff as they announce it, as it's coming up between now and then. But I'm not doing the Calgary Expo this year. It's too expensive and it's too lame. So I'm going to do the Calgary Game and Collector Show instead. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a good time. I'll have a booth there. You can come by and say hi and go and buy video games and do all the other stuff that you do. So check them out, calgarygameshow.com, and I hope you can come by and say hello on Saturday, May 30th. Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Bloodborne in the USA, who says, "Hey Adam, admit it. Your heart belonged to Secret of Evermore this whole time. Can't wait to listen to that episode. The hot dog army came through." Yeah, if you don't know, February we run a pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza. I take 64 retro games, randomize them into a bracket, and our Patreons vote every single day in February as we whittle it down to a champion, and they get an episode of the show. 2 years ago when we started it, Beautiful Joe won it. Last year, Okami won it. And this year, Secret of Evermore for the Super Nintendo took down Wario World from the GameCube in the finals to win the tournament. And I guess now I can say, because I always say I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm cheering for because I don't want to sway any votes or anything. Now that the tournament is over, I actually will say Secret of Evermore was the game that I was cheering for the most. There was lots of other games that I was hoping would win that lost, that, of course, disappointed me like so many others. But Secret of Evermore was one of the ones that was near and dear to my heart. So glad that one won. I don't know when we'll get that episode up, but sometime in the next couple of months, I'm finally going to play through the Secret of Evermore on my SNES and give it a review. I used to rent that one a lot when I was a kid, but I never got more than a couple hours in. So I'm really looking forward to diving into that one. So good call, Bloodborne, yeah. And thank you to everyone that voted in that. It was a fun month. Next up, the next big event, like we have polls every month to decide, over on Patreon, to decide games to cover on the show. But our next main event is in May. We're going to debut the Royal Rum poll. And what it's going to be is 2 games will start the month off on the poll, and then every day the poll will end, and a new game will be added at random until we have all 30 of them onto the poll, because we're going to go for 30 games. And anytime a game has less than 15% of the vote, by the end of the day, they are eliminated. Royal Rumble style. It's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait. So, the Love Sauce says, Adam, I'm loving Resident Evil 9 and all the love that Capcom is showing to the Nintendo Switch 2. As a huge survival horror fan, there isn't a better series. But could you please raise those hairy Canadian glove hands to the sky and use all your powers to bring Silent Hill and Dead Space to the Switch? What is taking so long? These would be perfect in handheld. I'd even settle for the original versions at this point. Get to work, Konami and EA. That's interesting, Loves. I will, first of all, because I keep getting asked about it, someone actually wrote in about it. I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit. Aaron Camarillo says, would I be a fool to possibly expect a Resident Evil Requiem expansion pass review soon? I'm hoping to do it next week, for those asking. This week it's going to be a review of God of War Sons of Sparta, or Sons of Spartan, or whatever it was called. And then I'm hoping to do Resident Evil Requiem next week. So to get back to your comment, Love Sauce, yes, Resident Evil 9 is fantastic. So far, I am fucking loving that game. I don't know why I don't understand why OG Silent Hill isn't on everything. Like, I don't understand why they're not putting it everywhere. Silent Hill 2 Remake, which is fucking superb. I mean, I guess maybe there's a chance the Switch 2 can't run it, but I doubt that. If it can run Resident Evil Requiem, I can't imagine it can't run Silent Hill 2 Remake. It should be on there. Dead Space, I agree. That doesn't make any sense to me. Dude, there's so many games that I don't understand why they're not on Switch. And like Silent Hill and Dead Space are 2 of them. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. I guess now maybe it makes sense if they're remastering them that those will be the ones that end up on Switch 2. But I can't believe that the original Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas weren't put on the OG Switch. Like, so many games that I don't know. Like, I don't know if maybe third parties or the studios that make these games are like, it's not worth the cost of working up and creating a Switch 2 port at this point because everyone's already played them elsewhere. I don't know if maybe Nintendo just wants too much of a taste. Like, I agree, dude. There's so many games that aren't on Switch that make no fucking sense to me at all. So glad you enjoyed Resident Evil, and I'll do what I can to get Silent Hill and Dead Space over there. I'll do my best. Ness Paula, Jeff, and Pooh says, hey, Blank, I'm curious on your thoughts about playing retro games on a CRT versus a modern display. I prefer to play them on a CRT since the games and consoles were designed with the ways CRTs worked in mind, and they look better on them because of that, in my opinion. I do recognize this isn't an option for everyone, but if you can do it, I recommend it. Yes, I was one of those folks who would play his retro consoles on like my modern monitors or whatever the fuck, and it was fine. They work. I do still do it. Like when I stream my classic NES, I'm playing it on a monitor most of the time, and it works, and it's not that bad. But I bought an old CRT TV a few months ago for $20. It's a JVC. I don't know how big it is. I would guess it's like 27 inches or something. It's heavy as fuck. But I spent $20 on it, and now that's where when I'm playing offline, that's where I play on my classic consoles. It really is a major difference. Like, if you've been on the fence about grabbing a CRT for your game room, if you collect retro consoles, I cannot recommend enough that you keep an eye out, because like, sure, there are people out there marking them up and charging like hundreds of dollars, which is insane, but there'll always be people just putting them up for like $20, $30, $40 just trying to get rid of them. I skewed this one for $20, and I'm like, no joke, it's among the best $20 I've ever spent. It's just, they look better, they feel better. I know there's a lot of talk about input delay when you play them on modern monitors. I've beaten some pretty tough games on my monitors, so I'm not saying there's not input delay. I haven't really found that to be a huge difference on the CRT the longer I've played with it, but everything else, like, it just sounds better, looks better. Oh, I fucking love it. So yeah, if you're building yourself a retro gaming room, make a CRT television part of your work it into your budget. It's money well spent, I promise you. Professor Monkey Forehead says, if you could give any sport the Mario treatment, which one would you go for? I'd like to see Mario curling, where each character adds a special power to the rock when sliding it down the ice. Bonus points if Wario's power is double touching and poking the rock after he releases it. That he's not Canadian. That's our fucking move. I would play some Mario curling. I think the obvious one is probably going to be hockey, being the Canadian that I am. And I don't want to hear that some of the Olympic games have it. I don't want to play your crappy Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, finger popping each other's assholes, mini games. I want some real deep Mario hockey. That's probably the one. I would also take a new Mario baseball. But if you're asking me like, yo, you can make any sport, I'm going with Mario hockey. I don't think it ever happens. I think they probably think it's too violent. But I would take some Mario hockey. That'd be fucking sick. Mario curling would be pretty dope, though. I would play that. I'd play that. Makeshift Money says, Adam, can we stop at Flickies? No. Idolized Crumbles says, hello, Blank. I saw the new Marvel Maximum announcement with a load of 8-bit and 16-bit games, including Maximum Carnage. There are a load of games on there that could be great for the show. What are your thoughts? Cannot fucking wait. I was talking about a little bit on Game Patch this week. If you haven't seen it, yeah, they've announced the new Marvel Maximum collection, and it's got like the old 6-player X-Men arcade game in there with 6-player co-op. It's got Marvel and Venom Maximum Carnage. It's got Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage, Venom and Spider-Man Separation Anxiety, Silver Surfer from the NES is on there, Captain America and the Avengers is on there. I love buying up these retro collections. I don't buy all of them, but I do buy a lot of them. Sometimes I'll wait for them to go on sale and then snag them, but there's such a great way to build up a massive retro gaming catalog and take it with you anywhere. My favorite place to play these types of games is on my Switch or my Steam Deck, but just somewhere handheld. I just think they're perfect for like plane rides or fucking whatever the shit. And yeah, dude, this one, I don't think they've put a release date on it yet, but I will 100% be grabbing it. Can't wait. And to let everybody know, because I have been getting asked, Silver Surfer is actually at the top of the list for games that I want to review on the show out of that collection, because I've never played Silver Surfer on the NES. And I know how notoriously difficult it apparently is. And George likes his chicken spicy. I like my NES games tough. So we'll see if this is the one that breaks me or not, but I'm pretty stoked for that collection for sure. Flaming Mo says, howdy, Lord Blank. First time writing in, and I have a question/confession. I've been a Patreon for almost 2 years, and I've saved over 100 expansion pass episodes on Spotify. Over the past year, I've developed this habit of falling asleep to one of your episodes basically every night. My question is, do you think I need some form of therapy, since I not only pay to hear your voice, but I also fall asleep to it? Thanks for all your hard work on these podcasts. P.S. bonus question: how much longer will I have to wait for the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup again? Oh. Well, considering my team, the Montreal Canadiens, hasn't won it in 365 days longer than you, I'm not going to shit talk you. I actually like the Rangers. I have no beef with the Rangers at all. I will say the Rangers will next win the Cup in 2034. Because that'll be what, a 40-year anniversary. I'll say 2034. That's your next Cup. So you got 8 years to go. And I hope Montreal wins one before then. We're looking good, man. Montreal's looking good. As far as the falling asleep to my voice, dude, that's such a weird compliment, because I get that a lot. I've had a lot of people say that they use the podcast to put them to sleep, and like at face value, you're like, dude, the show is so bad it puts you to sleep. But I get it, because I don't so much anymore. But back in my bachelor days, there were things that I would put on and follow. Futurama. For a long time, when I got my first apartment, Futurama was what I would fall asleep to almost every night. So like, I get it. Sometimes you just get like you want to know? This is gonna sound fucking weird, okay? But I'm gonna trust y'all not to judge me here. You know what I fall asleep to now when I need like a nap? My favorite thing to put on YouTube and just like kind of doze off to it is Interrogation. Jim Can't Swim. Shout out to Jim Can't Swim, the best interrogation channel on YouTube. But I'll put on interrogation videos, particularly the Russell Williams one. And maybe that's fucked up because that guy's a horrible sack of shit murderer. But I just like I fall asleep like almost before they confront him with the crimes. It's so weird to me. So no, you're not weird. I'm fucking weirder than you. You listen to someone who listens to murder interrogations to sleep. So you're like 3 degrees separated from the weird, man. You're fine. Before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Nintendo's legal team says, Yo, Blake, you often state that you have no friends, yet the premise of the podcast is that you and a rotating guest of friends a rotating cast of friends geek out about the games you love from back in the day. So it seemed to the casual observer that you do have many friends. Are you saying that you never get together and hang out with the guests on your show? What about playing online games? It doesn't seem like you're an asshole. So how does a man end up with no friends? Oh, bet your ass, Nintendo's legal team. I am an asshole. This is why I prefer podcasting to streaming, because when you stream, there is no, that was what killed Boogie2988's career, right? Because once you start streaming, there is no putting on the nice face. It's just, you get the raw, uncut, unfiltered version of people. And then you find out who people really are. Whereas the podcasting or the YouTube videos, I can cut out all the crap and make sure I present myself in at least a passable light. So make no mistake, friend, I am an asshole. But jokes aside, I do have friends. I don't have a ton of friends that are big gamers. Even some of my regular guests that come on the show don't play a ton of games now. They just played them back in the day. It's games we grew up playing back in the day. I do have some friends now. I don't remember the last time I invited a friend over to like play a video game. Unless you're coming to my house to play poker, I don't even want you in my house. Like, that's the only time I invite anyone over anymore. And then I just like the online thing. I don't like playing online with people. Like, I do occasionally do it. I get so many invites from people to play online, but I'm a horrible online gamer because I'll play for like 20 minutes. You know, like, let's say we're playing, I don't know, Call of Duty, right? I'll hop in and I'll play for like 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm ready to play something else now. And that, because that's what I do even when I have like a single player session. It's very rare. Resident Evil Requiem has been one of the rare games that just grabs me, and I'll drop 2 to 3 hours. And it's like, in a 2 or 3 hour session of gaming normally, I play at least 3 games. That's just how I am. I'll play to like the end of a chapter or the end of a level, and then I'll stop and I'll go to another game, or I'll look at my phone, or I'll fucking play with my dog for 10 minutes and come back. Like, I don't have the attention span to play with friends. So when I say I have no friends, it's like the half truth. I just don't have any friends that I play video games with. So I'm a loner, and I'm happy with that. I like it. I like my lonely world. It's nice. All the snacks are mine. So thank you, everybody that wrote in as always. We'll get to a few more of these on the Rambling Idiot on Friday, but we need to keep the ball rolling. So let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play 1, remake 1, erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. And this week, we're talking Toobin. So I decided to go with 3 other NES games that my brother and I rented all the time when we were kids. So we got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, A Boy and His Blob, and Dick Tracy. We rented those 3 all the time, and Toobin all the fucking time. And 30, it was actually a pretty big spread across the order here. But 30. Oh no, did I fuck up here? Oh no, I put in 30. Oh no, that's okay. Okay, so I was like, I put down that 30% of you voted for the winner, but then I didn't type in who the winner was. But that's okay. I got it here. 30% of you said you'd play Boy and His Blob, remake Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and erase Dick Tracy. That was the winner. So let's see what a few of you had to say here. Then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Devil's Cry 007 says play Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I never beat it, but I remember it kicking my ass. Maybe I'll have a better chance with save states. Remake A Boy and His Blob. What they could do with today's technology would be amazing. And then erase Dick Tracy. 30 seconds, no more Dick. If you know, you know. Save states make every game more playable. I agree. And fuck the gatekeepers. If you want to save state, stay away. Who gives a fuck? Boy and His Blob and Modern Tech could be rad. I don't get 30 seconds, no more Dick. But I've never seen anything Dick Tracy. Like nothing. Other than that video game, I know nothing of the man. And he wears a yellow coat. So I don't know if that's a line from the movie or perhaps pornography. 30 seconds, no more Dick. That could be a lot of things. Just James says, one day I'll have actually played all 3 games presented to us on one of these to understand or to have some understanding in what universe-altering events I may be responsible for, but today is not that day. So play Richard Tracy because fuck it, why not? Remake A Boy and His Blob. Blobs are cool and fuck it, why not? And erase Roger Rabbit because if I learned anything from the B movie, you shouldn't bang animals. I'm not sure I know the premise of this game, but fuck it, why not? I'm gonna bullshit you, Just James. I read your comment 100% because of Richard Tracy. I don't know why, that just hit me the right way. So it's all it takes. The barrier of entry to get onto this podcast is very low. Just say anything my feeble mind is entertained by, and you have a pretty good chance. Well done. J Mart says, play A Boy and His Blob because I haven't. Remake Dick Tracy because I have a ton of nostalgia for driving around and shooting cars in that game. Erase Who Framed Roger Rabbit because I could never figure out what the fuck was going on in that as a kid. Also, the movie was awesome, so we don't really need this trash game. Movie was fucking awesome. I guess if you have the movie, I'll hear that. If you got the movie, why do you need a bad game? I'll hear that. Lord Blackheart says, I would play Dick Tracy because I never have. I'll remake Roger Rabbit because that would be great if you made it kind of an open world game between Toontown and the real world, and that leaves A Boy and His Blob on the chopping block. I tried it back in the day, never really got into it, and to avoid Animal House's double secret probation, I have to follow the rules. Did they say double secret probation in Animal House? I'm just kidding. Because I know people will be like, what are you, that's, because I get asked that all the time. That is where I lifted it from. National Lampoon's Animal House. If you haven't seen it, double secret probation. Go watch it, then you come off probation. It's a great fucking movie. And Neil McKinnon says, play Roger Rabbit. Much like Turtles 1, it's much better than it gets credit for, and just has to be learned as it's its own unique thing. Remake A Boy and His Blob and just give the actual remake a fresher coat of paint. It's great. I hear the ending got pretty emotional, and I never gave it the time it deserved, so I may as well do that with a better looking version. And then erase Dick Tracy, even though I want to give it a chance too, simply because rules are rules and it's lowest on my personal chopping block. Dude, I have yet to play that remake of A Boy and His Blob, and I'm interested because I love the OG. I got to play that remake at some point. I am actually going with the majority. That's how I knew what the majority answer was. I'm going with 30% of you. I answered the same way as the most of you did, as did Justin Combustion, who said, play A Boy and His Blob. I haven't. The title is very intriguing. Remake Roger Rabbit because Jessica Rabbit in modern graphics would be unreal. And then erase Dick Tracy because, meh. That's good logic. I like that. Same reasoning for me, or same order for me. I'm going to play A Boy and His Blob because I've played all three of these, and I'm going to play A Boy and His Blob because it's my favorite game of these three. I love that fuck. If you've not played it, there's an episode about it, an old school one. It's a really fun, like, classic puzzle game where you're this boy with this blob who follows you around, and you feed him jelly beans of different flavors, and every different flavor makes him transform into a different item, like a ladder, a parachute, a trampoline, a bubble, and you have to, like, solve puzzles to collect treasure and get him back to his home planet. It's a pretty cool game. It's tough, but it's pretty fun. So I'm going to play that as well. I'm going to remake Who Framed Roger Rabbit because I agree. I think a modern Who Framed Roger Rabbit game could be fucking sick. I love that movie. That'd be awesome. And then I'm going to erase Dick Tracy because I literally only know him from his NES game and The Simpsons where Little Flanders goes, now I'm Prune Tracy. Take that, Dick. And then it cuts out. Hilarious. But that's all I know of him, so he's not necessary around here. Thank you, everyone that wrote in to play along as always. What have I been playing over the last 2 weeks? And then we're going to get into Toobin. I've actually been playing some Toobin to get ready for this episode, and it's as fun as I remember it being. I fucking love that game. We'll talk about that. I've also been playing this little title, Resident Evil Requiem, and hopefully, like I mentioned, I'm going to review it next week, but it is if you're on the fence and you're a Resident Evil fan, get it. I don't mean to spoil my review, but fucking get it. Unless it falls apart the last, like, third, it is very, very good. Really, really enjoying that game. I finished God of War Sons of Sparta. We'll review that tomorrow on Expansion Pass. I've been playing Max Payne for probably next week's Remember the Game. And I haven't played that one since it came out. When I did play it back on the original Xbox. And it's so fun when you're not in those nightmares. Those nightmares, I don't know if I'll finish it. I'm on the second nightmare, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm so fucking mad at that nightmare. But other than that, it's a cool game. So we'll review that next week. And then I'm still chipping away at Oblivion. Oh, and just to fucking add to it, because why the fuck not? I ended up grabbing Pokemon Leaf Green off the eShop, and I started streaming it today over on Patreon. So I'm going to probably do some Patreon streams of that as well, which is a good time. And then this week, we have Slay the Spire 2 and WWE 2K26. And it's just, oh my God. It's too many games. First world problems, man. First world problems. Okay. Thank you, everybody. As always, I appreciate. Oh no, I already said thank you. I'm not thanking you again. I take that thank you back. No thanks to you, none. Here's what's gonna happen though. I am gonna pause. I'm gonna let a sponsor in. They're gonna peddle the wares. Before that, I'm gonna play a retro gaming ad because that's what I do now. And then when we get back, it's all about Toobin from now until the end of the episode. Okay, remember the game will return after these messages.
Something's coming up the plumbing for Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind. Spider flies, cheaper shites, they're all coming out the pipes.
Mario, where are you?
It's Atari Mario Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong, his brother Luigi, and lots of crazy creatures. And it's twice the fun when two play at once, because you need all the help you can get.
Mario, where are you?
Mario Brothers, new from Atari.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March 8th is International Women's Day, and that gives me another reason to talk about how incredible my wife is. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The only reason I'm sitting here talking to you right now is because of her and the support she has given me over the years. Every time I've wanted to take a blind leap of faith on a new chapter in my life, she's just grabbed my hand and shoved me through the door, never questioning it, and she's worked so hard at her own career to make sure that we're always staying above water while I was just starting over again and again on a whim. She's my rock. She's the best. We get so busy looking out for the people we care about that it can be easy to forget to balance the scales and make sure you're looking after yourself as well as your family. Therapy can be a great way to help you set healthy boundaries and make sure you're taking care of you as well as them. BetterHelp can be a fantastic way to start your therapy journey. Their industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they'll do a great job of pairing you with one of their over 30,000 therapists that are best suited to your needs. And sessions can take place online, so you can meet with your therapist when and how it works best for you. And if it's not a fit, you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. BetterHelp has served over 6 million people globally, and they're rocking a 4.9 out of 5 average rating when it comes to their live therapy sessions. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's talk some Toobin. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. Actually, there was a little, not a shortage of comments, but there was a lot of like, what the fuck is this game? Which I hope y'all listen to this episode and get some fucking culture in your lives, all right? Let's see what somebody had to say about this game. George Swan says, I remember Toobin on the NES feeling chaotic in a way most home games weren't. You'd fired up expecting something simple, and instead it was just non-stop hazards. Rocks, logs, gators, barely any time to breathe. It always felt like you were half a second from wiping out. It was one of those games where you'd think, I've got it figured out, and then immediately get punished for it. No mercy, no easing you in, just restart and try again. Definitely one of those NES titles that stuck with me because it felt a little unfair, a little weird, and totally different from the normal platformers. I agree. Like it's definitely a unique game. I didn't even realize it was an arcade game back in the day when I was playing it on the NES. I had no fucking idea. But it's definitely, I think that's one of the things I like about it, is it is a little bit unique. I agree. And it's fun, man. It's a fun fucking game. Old Man Gamer says, my campground used to have this arcade cabinet when I was a kid. So many quarters put into this machine. I've never even seen this arcade cab, other than like Googling it for this episode. Man, I'd love to play this on an arcade cabinet. I think that'd be a blast. Lockdar9877 says, Toobin was so much fun, but I'd only play a few levels and then I'd play something else. It was more of a side game than a full game. Which I won't argue. That like, and that's, it's like Donkey Kong or how am I fucking blanking on arcade games right now? Jesus Christ. Burger Time, Paperboy, whatever. Like, they're good for like half an hour. And then you're like, all right, I'll get to play something else now. Or a couple of quarters. Then you're going to come back. But that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Big Papa Grimace says, the first time I ever played Toobin was at our local gaming expo. It was the only cabinet open, and me and the missus decided to give it a try. We sucked. We didn't like it. But for some goddamn reason, we played it for another hour. To this day, when we see a copy in the wild, I flash it, and all I hear is, fuck Toobin. Every year since that day, we head to that cabinet at the expo. It has become our official first game of the expo. Man, I want to go to an expo full of arcade cabs. We don't have that. Sounds awesome. John F. Ketamine says, motherfucking Toobin. I love this game. I used to play it on Midway Arcade Treasures on the OG Xbox a lot with my friend after school. Not sure why, but we went through a phase where we would play Toobin, Klax, and Robotron instead of Halo or Guitar Hero. I don't know Robotron, but shout out to Klax. I don't know if there's enough meat on the bone to fill an episode of Klax, but I'd like to try because I love that fucking game. Let's talk some Toobin. Maybe with my friend Chris, maybe alone. I don't know. Have a listen and find out because I don't know either. But I'm going to keep some more of that Toobin music. And when it stops, somebody is going to talk Toobin, which originally released in arcades back in June of 1988. I love it when we cover games from the 80s, son. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to end that music a little early because I don't know about any of you. I find that very, very annoying. This is one of those ones. I've been replaying this the last week or so to get ready for this episode, and I've been muting my television and just listening to YouTube or shit because I'm like, this, oh my God, the fucking music of this game. But this episode is cursed, okay? So here's where we stand on this episode right now. This was supposed to go live yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon. Usually episodes go live Tuesday late at night. I'm recording this Wednesday afternoon. We had initially booked this in a few days ago, and then something came up with the scheduling, and we couldn't make it work. My buddy Chris and I. No big deal. Okay, my friends do this show by volunteer basis. They all have to put all their own lives ahead of my show. It's not a big deal. Never, ever going to blame one or be upset when something get canceled, okay? So we're going to get it done on the weekend. Something came through. Not a big deal. Then we were going to do it last night to get it ready for the show. And then Shay and I had an incident here at the house. We're fine. Everything's fine. It was a plumbing issue, which we thought was going to be a lot worse than it was. A couple $100 and we're safe, and the house is not flooded and not destroyed, and everything is great. But then we had to delay the episode again. And then on top of all that and the constant delays of this episode, I thought a tubing episode would be fun. And I'm telling you, there's been very few games where I have set out to do an episode about them, and then we've just canceled it because I'm like, there is not enough meat on the bone. I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to do with this topic. I can only think of two that we've done that with for sure. One was WWF WrestleMania for the NES, which maybe someday I'll sneak into like an NES wrestling game episode or something. But my buddy Brad and I were going to do that a few years ago, and we were just like, dude, this sucks. Like, there's nothing to say about this fucking game. And then the other topic we've done this with before is the Game Genie, which we almost did an episode. We had planned an episode of the Game Genie back in like the first 50 episodes of the show. And then we were just like, what are you going to say? Like, when, I think it was my buddy Miklos and we started talking, and then I realized like, yeah, we used the code, and then this was what we did with the code. And I was like, I just don't know if I can make these work. And we've made some fucking dry games into episodes. We've done Duck Hunt, we've done Dr. Mario, we've done Paperboy, we've done Tetris. So I thought, Toobin, I love this game growing up. We can make an episode out of this. But in addition to all the scheduling problems and everything else that's happened, as I've been replaying this for the last couple of weeks, I've realized that there's like a 20-minute conversation here. Like, there is fucking, I pushed my luck on this one. I thought, hey, I need a quick, easy one to get me through an extra week while I work on Max Payne and Fear. And I was like, Toobin will work. When I dropped the tease a couple months ago, and a bunch of you were like, Toobin's cool. I remember Toobin. I was like, yeah, okay. I can get away with an episode on Toobin. I don't know if we can. You play it for like 10 minutes and then it's over. I just looked up the instruction manual from the NES version, which is what I grew up with. I know a lot of you played it in arcades. I played it on the NES. I just looked up the instruction manual. I don't remember this. The instruction manual is 4 pages. It like, there's the title page, the object of the game, the control screen, and then item descriptions, and then a hint. And the hint in the instruction manual says, like, feel your way down those waves, dude, and use that awesome control pad, but stay away from sharp things. Oh, thank you for the help, you fucking useless. So anyway, there's not a lot to talk about in this game, so I'm going to go solo because the scheduling has just gone on too long, and we need to get this episode up so we can move on. I apologize. Never again will I plan an episode without replaying the game a little bit first to make sure there's enough meat on the bone. We'll do our best. We'll make this work. Josh and I, my little brother and I, used to rent this game all the time when we would rent video games. I would experiment a little bit. I would go to the Mega Man aisle. You know, I would look at the Castlevanias and the Contras, the games we didn't own. Josh was like Dick Tracy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, A Boy and His Blob, Toobin, and Bump and Jump. It felt like it was those 5 games over and over again. All various degrees of good games. But Toobin was one we rented all the time, and we would play it, and then we'd play it for like 20 minutes, and then be like, we're done. If you've never played it, as I think I said in the infamous intro, it's an arcade game initially, which I didn't know. I thought it was just an NES game. Because I was, kids don't know what they want because they're stupid. And that was me. Shout out to him, gets that reference. But all it really is it auto scrolls. You start at level 1 and you're just like a dude laying in an inner tube in like a creek, canal, river, whatever the fuck. And the screen auto scrolls from top to bottom, and it's you floating down the river in your tube. And the whole object of the game is to score as many points as you can without your tube being popped. So like in a lot of ways, it is along the same lines of a Burger Time or I guess to some extent like a Paperboy or a Donkey Kong, whatever the fuck. You can try to beat the same levels and go in the loops over and over again faster if you want to. But you're also going for the high score. As kids, I didn't give a fuck about the score. I would just try to see how far I could get in. Now I'm a cultured swine now. Now I go with the scoring system. But you start floating down down this river in your tube, and you have one way to fight back. Okay, like you can steer up, down, left, and right. And actually, one of the cool things the game does is you can't just like stop on a dime when you try to steer anyway. Like if you try to stop and go back the other way, no matter how what direction you're going, like he like your character will float a little bit further that way. Think like an ice level in Mario. And I know that's so annoying in platformers and stuff, but it actually works really well in this game because you can get going pretty fast, but the faster you get going, the harder it is for you to stop, obviously. And in some of the later levels, man, I'll talk about some of the obstacles in a minute. When you get into some of these later levels, and the obstacles are like they start like I don't think they're planning against you, but maybe they are because they start kind of closing in and pinching you off to one side of the river or the other side. So then you need to steer over to the edge, but then you're kind of trapped against that wall. And if there's any enemies waiting there, they'll get you. So you kind of try to turbo past them, going down the middle as fast as you can. I'm trying to make this exciting. I'm sorry. I fucked up. I thought this would make it. I thought this would make a good episode. I've been like dreading sitting down recording this for the last 2 hours because I'm just like I've been like hiding downstairs playing Resident Evil Requiem because I was like, how the fuck am I gonna make this work? And then I was like, so you have the inner tube. We could talk about the tube and how the controls make you slide around. Okay, we covered that. That's good. You do get some way to fight back, and I love that they just encourage littering because it's throwing cans. And I don't think they look like Coke cans, but they could be Budweiser cans just as easily, or mostly Canadian because, you know, when in Canada. But you start out with 6 cans that you can throw like at a 45-degree angle to your left or to your right. You can't throw them straight sideways. You can't throw them behind you. So you need to like be looking down the river and seeing what's coming up. And you can use them to like get rid of obstacles. Like if you're in like a desert level, there's cacti, pardon me. I know that from Jackass. There's cacti. That's one of the best Jackass stunts. Johnny Knox. Was it Knoxville? I think it was. And he rode the bike off the ramp and then landed in the I'm laying in cacti. Anyways, anything I can do to like, I'm gonna see if I can make this last 30 minutes. We'll see how this fucking goes. But like so sometimes you can throw like a pop can at like a cactus or a twig in a creek or whatever and knock it down, or at least knock it underwater temporarily before it comes back up and gets you. But the other thing you can use with your cans that I think is far more important are there are bad guys standing on the shorelines on either side. And like the areas vary. Like you'll be going down a desert, you'll be going just like in a creek, like with like sand on either side. You can end up in the mountains or in the woods, in the jungle. You end up in the Arctic. You can go to Mars. You're in like a fucking factory. And each level's got like you can go back to like the Jurassic era. There's actually dinosaurs standing in the water and stuff. Am I really going to sneeze? I never sneeze when I podcast. Let's just add to the curse of the Toobin. This is going to go down as one of a Danhausen curse. He cursed Dominic Mysterio and it fucking rubbed off on me. So you can go to all these like crazy places and each one the level, like the obstacles change. And you can use the cans, like I was saying, to get rid of obstacles that are in the water that'll pop your raft. But you can also use them to stun bad guys standing on the shoreline. And like there'll be bad guys that are shooting like bow and arrows at you or shooting guns at you. I like when you're in the West, you're in like the desert. There's like the guns slinging like, yay-ha, like shooting at both sides, like just pow, 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 pow. And they shoot at 45 degrees. And you're trying to avoid those bullets. But while you're trying to avoid those bullets, you need to be looking out for cacti or anything else that happens to be in the water. When you're in the jungle, there's fucking like crocodiles that are coming up under the water. And if you hit them with cans, they'll duck down underneath. And it's pandemonium with the amount of stuff you have to dodge. And you have like a finite amount of lives. And when you run out, your lives are patches, which is very clever. And every time you touch it, like there's no health, there's no power-ups. They're like, you're just a man alone in a tube with a 6-pack in your thoughts. And when you get popped, you die and start over. And that's the whole fucking game. Why did I think this was going to be a good episode? You want to know the truth? When I sat down to record this, I was thinking about just going, okay, guys, I fucked up. This actually isn't a very deep game. It's fun, but there's not a lot going on. You're a guy in a tube throwing empties at everything and everyone around you because you're angry and drunk. And when your tube pops too many times, the game is over, and then you'll want to play something else, the end. And I was going to just do that and then just play the music and go to the outro. And then I was like, some people maybe were looking forward to this. So I'm trying, but I think, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck else to say. Okay, you know what? Let me let my I'll get in trouble if I don't put will I get in trouble if I don't put my other sponsor in here? I have 2 spots. There's nothing to talk about. It looks nice, like the graphics are cool. You can see that you're in different environments. When you go to like the Mars spaceship and stuff, you're dodging like barbed wire and there's like aliens shooting lasers at you. Like it's a pretty cool concept in that way. It's like this guy is just tripping balls in his tube going from one place. Like I like to think in reality he's just laying in an inner tube in like a lazy Susan. Is that what those are called? Like at a water park? Like just really slowly going through the water park, throwing cans at the kids and fucking and he thinks he's in Mars or in the jungle or in the desert or whatever the fuck, fighting for his life and the dinosaurs and tornadoes. Oh, there's these fucking hawks that fly above you and you can't hit them with your cans. But if they see you, they dive bomb at you, and they have fucked me in so many runs. You can, I'm going to skip my second ad today. What are you going to do? This isn't going to go, this is going to like 5 more minutes. You know what? If this is your first Remember the Game, I implore you, go back and listen to any of the other episodes from about episode 200 to episode 366. And like, yeah, we have log intros, and yeah, there's people that get mad at the log intros, but at least we have like double that amount of time in game chat on the other side. Like in a 90-minute podcast, it's half an hour intro, an hour of game talk, and that's fine. It works out really good. This one's going to be half an hour of intro and then 15 minutes of game talk. This is going to be, this could be a failed experiment, man. I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder. I don't even know what else to say. It's Toobin. Like, that's the whole game. Is you pick up, like, you can pick up, like, trash, I think it is, and just pick up, like, there's, like, these little, like, point barriers you can float through that'll set off and get you a couple thousand points if you can steer your way through them and stuff like that. And all you do is collect points and the game just loops over and over and just keeps putting more obstacles in. It's so many of you have been like, yo, when are you going to cover more arcade games, bish? And I'm like, I fucking will, but I don't know. What am I supposed to say? And I didn't play a lot of the good arcade games. We've done Turtles in Time. We've done The Simpsons. We haven't done X-Men, but we will when the Marvel Maximum Collection comes out. But Toobin might have been a mistake. You know what, though? You know what? Oh, yeah, and then there's also, you can collect, like, the letters, like Toobin and then the little apostrophe. And if you collect at least 3 of them, like, they're, like, hidden in levels inside items. Or, like, destructible items. And if you collect at least 3 of them, you can trade them in for lives when your game's over. And if you get them all, you get something. But I don't think I've ever gotten them all. I don't think I've ever gotten all 7. I don't think I've ever gotten all 7 in Toobin apostrophe in one run. So I actually don't know. It's one of life's great mysteries. What happens? Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. It's Toobin. No second ad break. We're gonna go to the outro. Go listen to one of the other episodes. They're better. This one, I tried. It's not without its charm. Dude, nothing was meant to work. We have been trying to organize this episode since Saturday. Saturday didn't work. Sunday didn't work. Monday didn't work. The night before it went live didn't work because my stupid plumbing blew up and we got that fixed. But now here I am Wednesday afternoon thinking, you know what? Fuck it. I'll make it work. And the whole time I've been thinking to myself, I don't know if this is going to work because there's not enough meat on the fucking bone. And I decided to try and make it work anyways. I love Toobin. And I'll tell you right now, someday when the show is dead, I can look back on my Toobin episode and be like, maybe no one else on the internet has done one, but I fucking did. And it got its flowers because I love this game, even though it's super thin and there's nothing to do in it. And there's no story and there's no power-ups and there's not even a lot of strategy to it. You just try not to run into things and pick up as many points as you can. I love this fucking game. Josh and I used to rent it all the time, and I'm going to give it, out of a 6-pack, I'm going to give it 4.25. 4.25 beers out of 6 beers for Toobin, because I love this game. I'll give this episode a 1 out of 6. Feel free. I don't care. Get mad if you want to. I did my best. What do you want me to do? Next week, we're talking Max Payne. That one will go for like 2 hours. I'm going to queue up the outro, and we're going to get out of here and just pretend that this whole cursed episode never happened. What a fucking dog show. And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Chris, if you did give me a call to talk some Toobin, thank you so much for doing so. If you did not, then you SEGA kids uses dead to us Nintendo kids. The battle is back on, my friends. But if it happened, then we bury the hatchet and everybody is friends. Either way, thank you all for listening, everybody. I appreciate it very, very much. I know there's a ton of retro gaming podcasts. Seems like there's more on the weekly, doesn't it? And you went with us. Good for you. Thank you so much for listening to us. I appreciate it. If you didn't hate us, leave us a good review. I'm not sure what they accomplished, but I enjoy reading them. They make me feel good about myself. And they kind of push the bad reviews down the algorithm, which is nice. And if you really want to show the show some love and get more of it, I'm not just asking for money for free. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. Subscription started just $3 a month. And you'll get tons of extra podcasts with new ones every week. Ad-free. Remember the game ad-free. Join our Discord. Vote on the games we cover. Write in, play one, remake one, erase one. It's pretty much the greatest deal in the history of the universe. So go over there and check it out. Let's and I don't really think I have anything else I feel like plug in. Oh, I'm on Twitch sometimes, whenever I can. Twitch.tv or just whatever. Do I have to say that? Go to Twitch, look for Member the Game, not Remember. Twitch.tv/Member the Game. I'm back on my Battletoads grind. I set a new personal best the other day, so I'm up to level 8 or 9 now in Battletoads on the NES. I'm gonna fucking beat that game. So you can come by and chirp me while I do that. Listen to the show. We got a YouTube with some Let's Plays. Look for Remember the Game over there. I think I'm good. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here and go eat some dinner. Thank you for listening, everybody. I appreciate it. If you are a patron, come back tomorrow for my God of War, Sons of Sparta spoiler-free review. It'll be up. Rambling Idiot on Friday. And next week, a whole nother slab of shows, including, hopefully, potentially, Tyler and I talking some Max Payne and my Resident Evil Requiem review on Expansion Pass. Should be good, okay? Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you later. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/remember the game. There's a good voice crack for you. And as such, I'm contractually obligated to say all your names as quickly as I can. So let's go newest to oldest. Let's do that this week. Newest to oldest. A huge thank you to everyone should be nicer to Johnny. He's only 2D. The Maritime Musician, Better Mousetrap Guitars, Cody Donaldson, Proud Slurm Addict, Governor Blank, Self High Five, Queer Al Yankerdick, Darky Frost 11, Amanda Hugginkiss, Carl Not Garl, Davis Feith, Chris Nethercutt, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, King Tiki Tiki, George Swan, Redline Aerodrones, Jonathan Breyer, Sailorman 82, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Siegfried, Landon Turquoise, The Okayest of Muffins, Frank Preeves, Spooky Dookie, Just James, Exotic Chaotic, Cannon Fodder Games, Devin Collins, Shane's World, Mikey Haig, Botfucker, Steaming Wooly, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Game Boy Gannon, Rob Lindsay, Jeff Leopard, Horror Wars Podcast, Jinxie 425, Legendberry, Thunderleaps, Topher Love, Doogie Bowser MD, Captain Asbury Juice, Erotic Onion Ring, Flater Flav, Lord Salazar, Travis Sanders, MacGyver 88, Hello Mr. Thompson, Super Cyan, Safarioff, Dazeraith. You heard about Pluto, Daniel Cook, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Conebread, Mad Gear, Brother Retro, VOS Rager, Wilco, McCracken, Justin Blair, Diablo Spartan, Muncal, David Schroeder, Newman, Generic Name 238, Darbles, Eric Hopewell, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Crash Team Racing, Muffin Man Jr., Spider Cat, Alex McIntyre, Scotty McGee, Toby OP, Thrillho, Lotus, Justin Tate, Flinny123, yes, this rocks, no, don't stop, Ryan Whitcomb, Mighty Yellow, Big Daddy Randall, Mr. Jabroni, Bob Zacamano, JR Bob Dobbs, Cody Thompson, Liquor Like Luigi, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Cesar, Mopey36, Too Much Karma, Bula, Smith, Mr. Blobbert Blobberstein, Brian Richmond, Robbie Air, Jay Callahan, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Shoeboxers, Crystallis got shafted by a pole again, Christopher Lee Williams, Mark Sneed, Eddie D19, E-Man Trucker, you son of a bitch, why? Tell me why. The Supreme Chozo Rizu, Fallen Snow Kiku, Penguin Milk, Be Money, Chris Hill isn't scared, that could be anyone's ass, Faded Suffering, Sour Goatface, Frosty Bear, Lucas Shaman, Roger Staubach Spool Cleaner, Lord Long Rob Von Hugen Dom II, Marcus Mendoza, Infinity Rage, Because 19, Beers of War, Lord Palmerston, Leroy Jenkins, Nordak, Pee Wee Squitters, Can't Destroy Her, Kevin Monroe, Ryan 4664, The Big Deal, Adam Martinette, Nick Creature, Postman, Darth Skywalter, Bartman Forever, Zombie XD, Just Car Pranks, Scotty J, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Alex R, Ryan Perry, Ted Explosion, Mild Oatmeal, Worked for Me, AB Killen, Monster SD, Boner, Kia Pop, Brandon DeZeba, iSocket D's, T-Bear87, Lugnut, Tadpole, Big the Cat, Zamatos, Christopher Brick, Quiet Place Queen, Beef Dingleberry, My Left Nut, Timothy Sabrinsky, Graham Kennedy, Musty Beetle, Maverick Marty, Christian Gabriel, Timothy Exuberant Turtle, Hits Meals, Isaiah, Sleeper Hit, Donnie the Dude Walter, Sam Carpenter, Drugs Bed, okay, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Max Lagroom, I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, General Fury, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Timothy, High Plains Drifter, Haga Waffle, Earl, Archangel Otaku, Storm Beagle, Scary Terry, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Wyatt the Surgeon Who Isn't a Surgeon Row, a dude named Adam, Decoy Man, Fuzzy99, Gabe, Matt Babinu, Stud Still Smash, Rush's Dog Walker, Leroy Restwich, Leroy Westrich, easy for me to say. Thomas Smith, Beaver Boy, Growlywog, Laces Out Dan, Jake Carter, Northern, Joe the Sandman, Phil Lencher, Tyler, Juris Dr. Mario, Mizuru, Bitch Ass Brian, Steve Dulk, Jameer Williams, DBXJ, Madam Nutsich, It's That Nerd James, Discount Psyop, Elijah Burns, Chugger22, Triple Three, Captain Black Silver, Zach Shepard, Holmes, Corn Sucks, Just a Fish, Randy Barrage, Jeff Bergeron, Titan 420, Dean Donian, Squints, Johnny from Virginia, Wolf Magic 21, Doogie, Andy Hudson, Wolfgang, Darren, G9 PSX, Mike Maloney, Ryan Kinchin, Zane Donovan, Morgan, A-Town, JSK Fusick, Aaron Lawson, Scott Brooks, No One Cares, Dave Thompson, Angry Ticks, Little Buddy Fufu 89, Eldest Millennial, Jordan, Andrew Wright, Chris Fleury, Dissect That, Dan, Jort King Keegs, J Nasty 15, Sharonic, and Makeshift Mallow Magic Money. That wasn't a bad batch of shoutouts. I did good. I did all right. It was fine. It was all right. It was good. It's pretty good. Sound like those old guys from the Muppets now. Take it easy, everybody. So long. Play Toobin. It's awesome.
Last night's
Remember the Game
was, without a doubt, the worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.
Hey, I know it wasn't great, but what right do you have to complain?
As a loyal
listener.
I feel they owe me.
What? They've given you thousands of hours of entertainment for free. What could they possibly owe you? I mean, if anything, you owe them.
Worst episode ever.